We start first this morning with First newspaper in Nigeria. And on the front page of the First News, the big story says, how governors began to steal local government funds. And this is according to the presidential candidate for the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Says governors in 1999 protested direct transfer of funds to councils, alleges they used joint accounts to siphon, deplete local government allocations. PDP presidential flag bearer wants constitution amendment to make local councils financially independent. So I think this is also linked to the story of the blame game going on between the federal government and the state government as regards the fact that the country is in poverty, or has been listed as the poverty capital of the world. Of course, this didn't start today. At the top of the paper, we have Atiku's endorsement, Dogara, others only seeking relevance, stomach infrastructure, and this is according to Afegboa. 2023 polls will be Nigeria's turning point. Don't vote with emotion. And this is from former President of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo. France beat Poland 3-1, reach World Cup quarterfinals. When we take sports, we'll be looking at the stories. PDP appoints Dogara as a campaign council member. Endorsing Atiku, grave error on your part, Obi blasts Dogara. Says ex-speaker ran from frying pan to fire. How Aisha Buhari's critic met a governor after meeting with president failed. Keyamo releases Tinubu's American visa, knocks critics. Wike says Governor Autumn fires back at APC over errand boy comment. For more stories here. Another INEC office set ablaze in Imo. That's not looking good. Naval ratings, kill policeman, injure others in Lagos. 13 abducted as insurgents attack mosque in Katsina. And final story, Giroud Mbappe take rootless France into World Cup quarterfinals. That's all that we can take this morning on the First News, but let's still stay in Nigeria.
All right, let's move to the Daily Trust newspapers and see what we can find over there. It's, of course, once again talking security challenges in Nigeria and the northern part of Nigeria. It says there, bandits abduct 46 in Katsina villages attacks. Students, worshippers, children among victims. Imam and others wounded. Kidnappers demand new Naira notes for ransom.
Yeah.
From where?
Oh, that's a new one now because you understand that. So what they're then saying is they would keep the victims in custody
Until
the new Naira notes.
They want to be first to receive the Naira notes?
Yes. First in time to receive this blessing because they know that if they give them the old Naira, it's going to they might find a way to link it back to them because the deadline is quite close. So it's a way of saying, you know what, people are trying to play smart. We're going to manipulate this in our own favor.
But I think it's also becoming very ridiculous. And here's why. Because when you hear of stories concerning kidnapping in other parts of the world, it's met with shock. But ours is starting to sound like a TV series. It's starting to sound, completely ridiculous, that they now make these type of demands. I remember not long ago, there were demands concerning, including motorcycles and bags of rice and bags of beans and some of all of that.
Dollars as well?
Yes, that the victims' families were asked to bring to have their loved ones back. And now we've gotten to that place. It sounds like a TV series and it's completely ridiculous.
It's a
and
cartel.
that's really, but I mean, where I'm heading is, I feel like they have gotten to a place where they now realize that they can completely disrespect the victim along with the crime
state.
that they are,
yes.
with the crime that they're committing, disrespecting the state and disrespecting the victim, because they have seemingly found out that the Nigerian government is not competent enough to put its foot down against kidnapping in the country. And that's why you see this type of things make headlines.
Very interesting.
It's ridiculous and insulting.
And sad, because now we talked about how a mosque in Katsina was attacked and 13 were abducted. It's almost like it's just numbers. We've become desensitized to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's now normal. So we are going to see more ridiculous. We might see more ridiculous demands.
All right, still on the Daily Trust, Buhari rules unconstitutional regime change in West Africa. IPOB behind attack on Imo INEC office, says the police. And also INEC tracked 52 campaign incidents in 2 months. We can also find ASP stabbed to death as naval police officers clash in Lagos. The naval and police officers clash in Lagos. Atiku Obi, Kwankwaso renew pledges at Arise TV's CDD Town Hall. That's also on the Daily Trust this morning. One of the candidates, once again, didn't show up for town hall meeting or, of course, a live TV interview.
May I ask
Then,
who that
of course,
is?
I'm referring to the APC's candidate, Nigeria's current ruling political party's candidate,
right. I just
Bola
wanted
Ahmed
to-
Tinubu. All right, I think finally on the Daily Trust, NNPC and Chevron secure 610 billion naira funding to drill 37 oil wells. Those are the stories that we can share on the Daily Trust newspapers this morning.
And let's head over to Kenya to see what's happening on the Daily Nation. On the front page, a big story, really, really sad here. It says, refuge, safe houses to be established as temporary shelters for migrant workers in distress. Deadly voyage, that's what the big story says. And it's interesting that we're talking about women and protecting the rights of women up until the 10th of December. And now this story is just highlighting women who went to look for a better life in the Middle East but never returned. Unfortunate incidents, 8 of them here, their photos and their pictures. Now this is just a fraction of the actual number of women that every day leave their countries in Africa to go to the Middle East, to go to Europe looking for a better life. And it's tales of horror and death at the hands of their cruel employers. Anyway, moving away from that, we have at the top of the paper, Gachagua Power Plan, quest for Mount Kenya leadership, linked to laying foundation for presidential bid. The details of that's on page 8. Transfers, teachers happy, head teachers welcome end to delocalization policy, saying it was a home breaker. The details of that is on page 9, on the back page rather. Withdrawal of cases sets a bad precedent, and this is according to Kaitom D. Guyo. The details is on page 14. And in the world of business, KRA is now ready to refund taxes paid by mistake. This is nice and interesting. The new feature on the portal allows users to claim money paid inadvertently. Before, like in other parts of the country, if you should pay money inadvertently, they'll just tell you to Sokpeotilo, meaning that it has gone. All right, and the final story here. Raila, my war with Ruto. Now, his war with Ruto involves high cost of living, lack of ethnic balance in appointments to state jobs, and plan to import genetically modified maize are among the reasons for Azimiola Umoja's one Kenya leader, Raila Odinga's displeasure with President William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanzaa administration. I wonder if we're going to ever see an end to the brawl between Kenya's Ruto and Raila.
I don't think so. You know, and if for any reason there's another president after William Ruto, I'm sure the Raila Odinga will continue that battle. You know,
You think so, right?
Yes.
So you think it's not really about Ruto as much as it's about
Ruto.
who occupies that office?
It's more, you know, because he's continued to contest for president, you know, and so as much as he continues to, you know, fail to get, you know, that victory that he seeks, he will, you know, always remain the lead opposition figure in Kenya.
It was interesting when I saw a photograph of, I think it was both of them, when they were having the mediations for the M23. So they're having the mediations to sort of curl the M23 attacks. And I think I saw a photo of both of them together. I was like, oh, wow, this is not a sight we see all the time.